तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatatam Bhuigrunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are in the conversation on August 24, 1882, Thursday. And it is going to be a very special chapter. After a little while, in Bengali, there is a para-heading, Guru Shishya Katha, Guru Shishya Katha Guhya Prasanga. So, Guhya means secret. Guru and Shishya means Sri Ramakrishna and Master Mahasaya, talking in solitude. We'll come to that, but that is the date. And we are read on that date up to this point. A little spiritual discipline is necessary in order to know what lies within. That is, he is talking in relation to Vidyasagar. But now it becomes directed to M. So M asks, is it necessary to practice discipline all through life? That means some people believe like that. That all through life we have to practice discipline. That means the mind never changes. That is the meaning. And that doubt comes to a man who has not yet seen the progress of the mind. So that is a valid question from a man who has not seen the progress of the mind. So he feels that we have to go on practicing for life. But Master Mahasaya has a doubt on that point and is asking Sri Ramakrishna about it. That is the difference. A sadhak always does not resolve his own things himself, but he refers to his guru always. So that is the best point we are dealing with. That is referring to Guru. So we listen to now Sri Ramakrishna, the Master. No. Straight answer is no. Spiritual life is a graded organization. That means if you practice, you will come to a point where it will become natural, automatic, and real progress will take up. The inner forces will rise. And when the inner forces rise, the outside practice becomes unnecessary and the progress is opened up. No, but practice in the beginning is necessary. But one must be up and doing in the beginning. Clear? Up and doing. That means put all your effort in the beginning. After that, one need not work hard. So there will be work, but it will not be hard. A simile can be, a similar situation can be taken from the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. There, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudasya tasyaiva shama karanam uchyate. Visualize or imagine Bhagavan is telling there that yoga as if is a hillock. Now, we have to climb the hillock and then walk on the hillock. Now, climbing the hillock is definitely strenuous. But when you have climbed up and now walking on the hillock, then it is not that difficult. These two states are called the karma nishtha and the jnana nishtha or bhakti nishtha or yoga nishtha. So, that is the point where Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out. There comes a situation in life when we do not have to struggle hard. Smooth progress is there, but the walking is on a plane almost. So, that is the state. But one must be up and doing in the beginning. After that, one need not work hard. And he gives several examples. The helmsman stands up and clutches the rudder firmly as long as the boat is passing through waves, storms, high wind, or around the curves of a river, but he relaxes after steering through them. As soon as the boat passes the curves and the helmsman feels a favorable wind, natural inclination for devotion. He sits comfortably and just touches the rudder. So much smoother struggle. Next, he prepares to unfurl the sail and gets ready for a smoke. That means now the inner nature will take it away. Likewise, the aspirant enjoys peace and calm after passing the waves and storms of woman and gold. So woman and gold are counterproductive, they are pulling you back, so you have to struggle hard. Once you cross that area, when this pull has become much less ineffective, then your progress will be much smoother. Some are born with the characteristics of the yogi. Some people, they are not the beginners at all. They have done something in the previous life and they are born with those sanskaras. So that is called some are born with the characteristics of the yogi. But they too should be careful. Language differs. Strenuous, hard, that is not the language. Struggle, but careful. Careful means the chance of being pulled back is still there. It is not said here they are also to struggle hard, but they are not yet firm on the upward path. So they have to be careful. It is woman and gold alone. That is the obstacle. In that case also, the obstacle is woman and gold. But not that they have to struggle to come out of it, because they are born with a yogic science. So they have to be careful lest if we slacken, if we become sure unnecessarily, then the lower or backward pull may take up. And then what will happen? A complete science is describing. It makes them deviate from the path of yoga and drags them into worldliness. Perhaps they have some desire for enjoyment. So they are born with yogic science, but they have perhaps some drag for enjoyment. And so, if woman and gold is not taken care of, that drag may arise and they may go into it. After fulfilling their desire, they again direct their mind to God. This is called in the computer language a loop. That means they are practicing, going up. At some point they deviate. And this deviation is like a circle. It brings them back. That is called the loop. And then they proceed. So that field of desire is like a circle completed, and then it allows the man to proceed. Perhaps they have some desire for enjoyment. After fulfilling their desire, they again direct their minds to God. This is also called bhoganta. Some attachment, some are strong, so they have to release it. And then they come back and they proceed further. After fulfilling their desire, they again direct their mind to God and thus recover their former state of mind fit for the practice of yoga. Yoga is the sadhana. So, fit for the practice of yoga is their previous state. They deviated due to some lurking enjoyment and in an atmosphere of one and gold. And so, after completing that, they rise again. That is just like the loop. Have you ever seen the spring type of fish called the Shatka Kal? Shatka is the suddenness of the rise. Kal is a machine. So Sri Ramakrishna has seen a machine, a contrivance for catching fish. And that is local almost, that is near Kamarpukur. So whether it exists in Calcutta, has Master Mache also seen that? So he asked, have you ever seen the spring trap for a fish called the Shatkakal? No sir, I haven't seen it. That is what Thakur knew or expected. So he tells about that. Master, they use it in our part of the country. One end of a bamboo pole is fastened in the ground and the other is bent over with a catch. From this end, a line with a hook hangs over the water. So, bent, catch, line, bait. When the fish swallows the bait, suddenly the bamboo jumps up and regains its upright position. So that is like fish catching is like enjoyment, and then going straight up is like the joining the path of yoga. Again, take a pair of scales. Scales. For example, if a weight is placed on one side, the lower needle moves away from the upper needle. In that scale, there is the upper needle and there is a lower needle, and if the weight is put, the lower needle moves away. The meeting of the two is yoga. So, if the lower needle is in line with the upper needle, then it is called yoga. Now, these are figures. So, what is the actual description? Unless the mind becomes or steady, there cannot be yoga. Mind has to be steady. For that, the struggle is there in the beginning. Because our mind has a reverse habit. So, to make it steady, that in the beginning, struggle is necessary. It is the wind of worldliness that always disturbs the mind. worldliness, that means proneness to enjoyment. Unless the mind becomes steady, there cannot be yoga. It is the wind of worldliness that always disturbs the mind, which may be likened to a candle. Another example, candle, flame. If that flame doesn't move at all, then one is said to have attained yoga. So that like climbing the hill, that flame has no wind, so it stands steady. Woman and gold alone is the obstacle to yoga. So at every step, the obstacle is the same thing. Always analyze now the solution for this is being told. Struggle and all that, what consists of the struggle that is being told now, always analyze what you see. So Viveka is absolutely necessary in the path of bhakti. What is there in the body of a woman? We have seen all these discriminations in the second day's talk, how Vyastu Vichar was discussed. Always analyze what you see. What that means what you see outside and what is inside. What is there in the body of a woman? In the body. Only such things as blood, flesh, fat, entrails, and the like. Now, have they omitted something more? Oh, some Gulman is there. Oh. January 1883. Oh, I should have marked it. Huh? Oh, 1 minute, please. Or we can ignore that, but I want to catch up with some more thing has been told there. The date, October, 5th August, 5th August, 5th August is Vidyasagar. 24 August, okay. एक मिनट हाँ रक्तमांस चर्बी नाड़ी गुड़ी कृमि मृत वृष्ठ यही सब मैं जानता हूँ in English just ignore that. Let me read now. What is there in the body of a woman? Only such things as blood, flesh, fat, entrails. Rakta, Mans, Charvi, Nadimudi. After that, three more things have been told in the Bengali. Krumi, Mut, Vishtha. Krumi means bacteria in the body. And urine and excreta, that is there in the body of the woman. Why should one love such a body? So that is the Vastu Vichar which always Thakur asks us to do, everybody to do. Sometimes I used to assume a Rajasic mood in order to practice renunciation. This is one of the methods that while enjoying, you use your discrimination. Discrimination and enjoyment together, discrimination has a stronger force and then that enjoyment will drop off. That is for strong-minded people. So Thakur is describing some situation. Sometimes I used to assume a Rajasic mood in order to practice renunciation. Once I had the desire to put on a gold embroidered robe, wear a ring on my finger, and smoke a hubble bubble with a long pipe. These three desires. Mathur Babu procured all these things for me. I wore the gold embroidered robe and said to myself after a while, mind, this is what is called a gold embroidered robe. Then I took it off and threw it away. I couldn't stand the robe anymore. So, tell the mind, this is this. Have you enjoyed? Throw it away. That is, as I said, for a strong mind. Then I took it off and threw it away. I couldn't stand the robe anymore. Again I said to myself, mind, this is called a shawl, and this a ring, and this smoking a hubble bubble with a pipe, long pipe. I threw those things away once for all, and the desire to enjoy them never arose in my mind again. That is, as I said, for a stronger mind. It was almost dusk. The master and M stood talking alone near the door on the southeast veranda. So we started the day with Hazra and others, but now only Thakur and Master Mashi are there. Master to M. The mind of the yogi is always fixed on God, always absorbed in the self. Absorbed, we have heard again and again. You can recognize such a man by merely looking at him. So that expresses on his face, his eyes are wide open with an aimless look, like the eyes of the mother bird hatching her egg. So vacant look outside of. That is the yogi's sign. Her entire mind is fixed on the eggs, and there is a vacant look in her eyes. Can you show me such a picture? A picture where the bird is hatching the eggs. So the whole attention is on them. It has not closed the eyes. Eyes are open. Eyes are open with a vacant look. Him, I shall try to get one. So this is dusk. Now, at this point, there is a heading. Guru Shishya Samvad Guhya Katha. Talk between a Guru and Shishya on secret topics. Now, this secret is not for something bad, but something very deep in the mind of man. That is Guhya here. This is not secret, but sacred. Secret in the Guhya, in the sense, lies in the very depth of man's personality. And this is a very great lesson. sometimes I feel more important than the second day stop. How it starts, As evening came on, the temples were lighted up. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on a small coach, so scene has shifted totally, meditating on the Divine Mother. Then he chanted the names of God. Incense was burnt in the room. When an oil lamp had been lighted, sounds of conch shells and gongs came floating on the air as the evening worship began in the temple of Kali. The light of the moon flooded all the quarters. The master again spoke to him. That means silent for some time, absorbed for some time, chanting the names of God for some time, and now he is talking to Master Masha. Master, perform your duties in an unselfish spirit. Because the talk was left there that you have to struggle in the beginning. The work that Vidyasagar is engaged in, that comes as an example, is very good. Always try to perform your duties without desiring any result. So duties are there, and then we expect result. Then that result may come, and we are deviated from the path of God. Why we are doing? It is our duty. And then leave it at that. If it is your duty, why you are thinking of the result? It is your duty, so you have done it. That should be the attitude. M. Yes, sir. But may I know if one can realize God while performing one's duties? Can Rama and desire coexist? The other day, I read in a Hindi couplet, where Rama is, their desire cannot be. Where desire is, their Rama cannot be. No, we will not understand this. Here the translation is correct. And if the translation correct means the Hindi couplet used has been translated correctly. And if we read this, then it is evident that desires and Rama cannot coexist. But the question came because Master Masha's knowledge of Hindi was weak, and he has mistranslated that couplet. Then only that question has arisen. In Bengali it is said, now the couplet is, Jahan Ram, tahan Kam nahi, Jahan Kam nahi Ram. Tulasi kabahu milata nahi, Ravi Rajani ikatham. Where Rama is there, no desires. Where desires are there, there is no Ram. And Tulsidas poet says that sun and moon, sun and night cannot meet together. There, the Kama Shabda is there. And Kama means desire. But Master Masha mistranslates it and thinks that Kama means karma. In Hindi or in Bengali, Hindi especially, काम कहते हैं कर्म को भी, और काम कहते हैं काम वासना को. काम वासना को अगर काम कहते हैं, that is opposite going to God. But काम वासना को अगर काम इच्छा इस रूप में हम देख रहे हैं गलती से, तो फिर ठाकुर के बोलने के अपोजिट हो गया, और तब ये डाउट उठ रहा है. Please understand, the English translation is correct according to the original Hindi Doha. But it is not correct according to the translation of that Hindi Doha done by Master Masha in Bengali. And that has produced the doubt. This will appear, what is the doubt? Because the answer you see, na, in answer Thakur is not talking of desire. So this becomes irrelevant according to the present translation. Again I say translation is correct according to Hindi original, but Master Masha's wrong translation has not been translated. And the reply Thakur has to give because of that wrong translation. Thakur does not say your translation is wrong. Thakur takes up as Master Masha has presented, and on that he is replying. So, the Master Masha said, there is no work where the God is, and if there is work, then God is not there. On that, because that is what Thakur had taught. And on that, Thakur is telling, Master, all without exception perform work. The desire has not arisen here at all. Work. Master Masha wants to avoid work. Similar to Arjuna trying to avoid work. That is the context here. And Thakur is showing him that work is not some action by the body. Work means duality. That is why all without exception perform work. Even to chant the name of and glories of God is work. As is the meditation of the non-dualist on I am He. To think on I am He is also two are there, and that is work. Breathing is also an activity. So Thakur is pointing various activities, physical, vocal, mental, breathing, to show that what is to be avoided is duality. And also that is at a later stage. He is showing that you want to avoid work, but work cannot be avoided. Work is done by everybody, whether he is Jnani or Bhakta or anybody. There is no way of renouncing work altogether. So do your work, but surrender the result to God. Understood? And that is the Guhya Katha here. So the question of desire is not there. Thakur has not taken that up. Master Masha, Thakur has told that you must work in the beginning. To that, Master Masha has misquoted Tulsidas and telling that work and Rama do not coexist. Thakur is telling, but who is without work? So, there is no way of renouncing work altogether. So, do your work but surrender the result to God. So, coveting the result comes in when you are working. Though it may not be originally there. That is the main psychological point. Originally, you think you are doing Nishkam Karma. And when you do that karma, then expectancy rises. So that has to be given up or avoided, but work cannot be given up. Sir, may I make an effort to earn more money? See the mind, see the question and answer. First is that he wants to avoid work. When Thakur shows that work has to be done, then his desire or his need for making more money comes up, and he asks that. And for more money, you have to work more. So that he brings up as soon as he finds that work is necessary. That is how the mind functions. Sir, may I make an effort to earn more money? Master, it is permissible to do so to maintain a religious family. So under certain circumstances, this does not have a blunt objective answer. According to the circumstances, the inner mind will work. And so it is permissible to do so to maintain a religious family. You may try to increase your income, but in an honest way. So all the things in the world have a but. Increase, then by any means increase. Can work? Yes, to maintain religious family. Yes, can work. Then by fair and foul means, no. The goal of life is not the earning of money, but the service of God. Money is not harmful if it is devoted to the service of God. I remember one example. One doctor asked a sadhu that how much should I give to the ashram every month? The sadhu replied, it is not a question of how much. You will be getting a salary. Now tag up percentage-wise of this salary. So, if your salary increases, you will give more. And the tendency for higher salary will not be wrong. Because if you are getting higher salary, you are paying to the ashram also higher. And so, he did that and benefited. So, devoted to the service of God. How long should a man feel obliged to do his duty towards his wife and children? So, all sides of earning money is being shown. That religious family. So, I have to maintain my wife and children. A very direct question. Master, as long as they feel pinched for food and clothing. Not for luxury, but for food and clothing, what is necessary, that you have to observe and do accordingly. But one need not take the responsibility of a son when he is able to support himself. When the young fledgling learns to learns to pick its own food, its mother takes it if it comes to her food. So these are the birds, but man becomes attached and attached. I remember one sad incident. There was a great devotee in Nagpur. He had two sons and one daughter. And that daughter had some handicap from the birth, like polio or something. And he educated his sons in England. One son got MBBS. And yet, he used to send money to that son. And then his demands grew. And he had his own house in Nagpur. So the thought came to his mind that I will sell my house and give more money to my children, to my sons. Now, the daughter committed suicide on that point because she was already handicapped. And he is sending money to the sons. And the only remaining hope for her was the house. And that house he wants to sell away. So she committed suicide. And then he became very sorry. And the monks of the ashrama have been continuously telling that your sons are now themselves are earning. Why should you send money to them? But that is called attachment. And it resulted in very bad something. And that is what Thakur is telling here. If you would have told his sons that I have supported you till you have got a job. Now it is for you to sustain yourself. He spoiled his son's mind also. So, as long as they feel pinched for food and clothing, you have to support. But one need not take the responsibility of a son when he is able to support himself. When the young fledgling learns to pick its own food, its mother pecks it if it comes to her for food. That is in the words. M. How long must one do one's duty? So, duty to wife, again duty in general. Master, the blossom drops off when the fruit appears. So if duty done in the proper spirit, with all fruits dedicated to God, then a time comes, a situation, a condition of the mind comes that one does not feel like doing it. Then we are doing duty to gain the higher stage of spirituality. And if you have got that, then duty is not required. It is no more a duty. So, one does not have to do one's duty after the attainment of God, nor does one feel like doing it then. Example, if a drunkard takes too much liquor, he cannot retain consciousness. If he takes only 2 or 3 glasses, he can go on with his work. As you advance nearer and nearer to God, He will reduce your activities little by little. He will get it reduced. Example, she is patent example. Finish the few duties you have at hand, and then you will have peace. When the mistress of the house goes to bed after finishing her cooking and other household duties, she won't come back. However, you may shout after her. So one is clear, duty is over. M. Sir, what is the meaning of the so that point is over. They are now proceeding. M starts visualizing her and her, and there he is asking questions. Sir, what is the meaning of the realization of God? What do you mean by God vision? How does one attain it? So again that meaning of yoga and all that will come. That God, what is the meaning of realization of God? What do you mean by God vision? How does one attain it? then at that point one will have to give up duty. That is what Thakur has taught. So Master Maharaj is interested in that state. Master, according to Vaishnavas, the aspirants and the seers of God may be divided into different groups. He mentions Vaishnavas because the Vedantis will soon find out no duty. Finish the few duties you have at hand, and then you will have peace. When the mistress of the house goes to bed after finishing her cooking and other household duties, she won't come back, however you may shout after her. What is the meaning of realization of God? What do you mean by God vision? How does one attain it? According to the Vaishnavas, the aspirant and the seers of God may be divided into different groups. So it cannot be replied objectively, but if you take into consideration ranges between this to this, like that, we can find the answer. These are the Pravartaka, the Sadhaka, the Siddha, and the Siddha of the Siddhas. Pravartaka means Jidnasrupi Yoga. He has started, he has not risen higher. The Sadhaka. Sadhaka is proceeding higher and higher. The Siddha, one who has reached perfection, and the Sadhaka of this, and the Siddha of the Siddha. That means completely reached a state above work. Who has just set foot on the path may be called a Pravartaka. Direction change. He may be called a Sadhak when has for some time been practicing spiritual discipline, such as worship, japa, meditation, and the chanting of God's name and glories. He may be called a Siddha, who has known from his born inmost inner experience that God exists. So, positive existence of God is Siddha. An analogy is given in the Vedanta to explain this. The master of the house is asleep in a dark room. Someone is groping in the darkness to find him and says, no, it is not he. So, stage is being described. He touches the window and says, no, it is not he. He touches the door and says, no, it is not he. Then this is known in the Vedanta as the process of neti neti, not this, not this. At last his hand touches the master's body and he exclaims, here he is. In other words, he is now conscious of the existence of the master. He has found him, but he doesn't get to know him intimately. So, more and more advanced, there is another type known as the Siddha of the Siddha, the supremely perfect. It is quite a different thing when one talks to the master intimately, when one knows God very intimately. through love and devotion. A Siddha has undoubtedly attained God, but the supremely perfect has known God very intimately. Difference between Siddha and Siddha Siddha. But in order to realize God, come back and it's higher and higher. But in order to realize God, one must assume one of those attitudes, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhur. So relational aspect with God. Because we have to change, not God. By doing sadhana, we have to change. For that, our definition should change. We are so and so's father, son, daughter, brother, mother. So that is our relation with the worldly things. But if I am son of God, I am friend of God, I am das of God, then God provides for me. God makes me go higher and higher. That big difference comes if the attitude changes. And the Vaishnavas talk of 5 modes, so Thakur has told about them. When entering deeper here now, Shanta, the serene attitude. The rishis of olden times had this attitude towards God. They did not desire any worldly enjoyment. It is like the single-minded devotion of a wife to her husband. So many factors are included in that. She knows that her husband is the embodiment of beauty and love, a veritable Madan. Madan is the god of lust, Kamadev. But the wife doesn't look beyond her husband. This is one of the bhav. And this bhav has to be applied to God. Nothing beyond him, nothing superior to him, nothing beneficial than him, like that. That is the two bhavas have been described, the Shanta and the Madhur, Dasya, the attitude of a servant towards his master. Hanuman had this attitude towards Rama. So example will make us understand this. He felt the strength of a lion when he worked for Rama. A wife feels this mood also. So that wife-husband mood is inclusive of this also. She serves her husband with all her heart and soul. A mother also has a little of this attitude as Yashoda had towards Krishna. So these are overlapping things. Sakhya, the attitude of friendship. Friends say to one another, come here and sit near me. Sri Dama and each other friend sometimes fed Krishna with fruit, part of which they had already taken, and sometimes climbed on his shoulders. So, friendship, love, nearness, equality, that is a growth. And there, some food they have eaten, and that they are giving to Krishna. Higher than that is Vatsalya, the attitude of a mother towards her child, about God. This was Yashoda's attitude towards Krishna. The wife too has a little of this. Wife's mood is inclusive. She feeds her husband with her very lifeblood, as it were. The mother feels happy only when the child has eaten to his heart's content. Yashoda would roam about with butter in her hand in order to feed Krishna. Madhur, now it has been taken again specifically. Madhur, the attitude of a woman towards her paramour. Paramour. Radha had this attitude toward Krishna. The wife also feels it for her husband. This attitude includes all the other four. So, karma, relationship, explained. Now, M asks, when one sees God, does one see Him with these eyes? These eyes, physical. Can they see God? Instead of asking like that, the reader asks, can the devotee feel some extraordinary relation? When one sees God, does one see with these eyes? Master, God cannot be seen with these physical eyes. Clear statement. Now, how does one see? In the course of spiritual discipline, one gets a love body. Now that is that secret or sacred portion which I told you is coming. Better stop here. We will take up this portion with this background tomorrow. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavivirīditam Kalmashāpam Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.